Labor court in Nairobi has suspended the recruitment of 10,000 new police officers following a petition filed by former Member of Parliament Harun Mwau. The decision came just hours before the exercise was set to begin across the country, throwing the entire process into uncertainty and spark a wave of reaction from citizens, police officials, and political leaders. The petition was filed by Mwau on grounds that the recruitment process was irregular and unlawful. He argued that the National Police Service Commission, which is tasked with overseeing the exercise, had failed to follow proper procedure in advertising, preparing, and supervising the recruitment. According to him, the process was likely to be compromised by corruption, favorism, and lack of transparency. In his petition, Mwau claimed that the recruitment drive was being rushed without adequate safeguards. He stated that such an important exercise requires clear structures to ensure that only qualified candidates were selected. By failing to put those safeguards in place, he argues the Commission was exposing the process to abuse. His legal team submitted detailed documents to support their petition, listing gaps and loopholes in the preparation that they said would undermine the credibility of the exercise. Labor Court, after considering the petition, issued an order suspending the recruitment until the matter could be heard and determined. The ruling meant that all plans by the police to carry out nationwide exercises had to be halted immediately. For thousands of young Kenyans who had prepared to turn up at the recruitment centers, the decision was both surprising and disappointing. Many had traveled long distance, spent resources to be ready for the exercise, only to learn at the last minute that it would not take place. The suspension also left the National Police Service Commission in a difficult position. The commission had already announced date and location for the recruitment and had mobilized officers to supervise the process. With a court order in place, all those arrangements were thrown into disarray. Senior police officials expressed concern that the delay could affect service ability to fit the critical gaps in staffing, especially in regions that have faced rising insecurity. For Mwau, however, the ruling was a victory. His lawyers told the court that the decision confirmed the importance of accountability in public service recruitment. They said that the police service, like any other public institution, must operate within the law and to be held to the highest standards of fairness. They added that Kenyans deserve a process free from corruption and irregularities, especially in an institution as important as the police. The case quickly became a topic of national debate in towns and villages across the country. Kenyans discussing the impact of the suspension. Supporters of Mao petition say the ruling would force the government to clean up the process and ensure only the best candidates were recruited. Critics, however, argued that the decision was disruptive and would leave the police understaffed at the time when security challenges are increasing. Officials within the Ministry of Interior acknowledged that the suspension was a setback. They said the ministry would await further direction from the court before making any new announcement. According to them, while the government was keen to expand the police service, it would respect the court process and comply with all legal requirements. The court directed that the case be heard in full in coming weeks, giving both the National Police Service Commission and Mwau's legal team time to present their arguments. Until then, the recruitment exercise would remain on hold. The commission was also instructed to submit documents showing how the recruitment had been planned and what steps had been taken to ensure transparency. The news of suspension spread quickly like bushfire on social media, with many young people expressing frustration. Some wrote that they had spent weeks preparing for the physical test, medical checks, and interviews that come with the police recruitment. Leaders from different parts of the country also weighed in. Some praised Mao for standing up against what they described as a flawed system. Others accused him of interfering in a process that was vital for a national security. In a parliament, several legislatures demanded that the Interior Ministry explain how the exercise had been organized and why it had ended up in court. This suspension places pressure on the National Police Service Commission to defend itself against accusation of mismanagement. Commissioners were expected to prove to the court that the recruitment had been designed to meet the standard required by the law. They also had to assure Kenyans that the process was not influenced by corruption or favorism. In the meantime, police stations across the country remain without the new recruits they had been expected. Commanders who had prepared to receive fresh officers had to put the plans on hold. A rift has emerged among elders in Vihiga County after a section of them endorsed Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya as the spokesperson of Mulembe community, a position currently held by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi. The endorsement, which took place on Saturday, September 27 in Sabatia, Mudavadi's home area, has triggered division with another faction of elders dismissing the exercise as illegitimate. The symbolic event where Natembeya was presented with a staff and whisked to signify leadership has now become the center of dispute, with accusation and counter-accusation among different groups of elders. During the Sabatia gathering, elders drawn from across the four communities of Vihiga County assembled in what was described as a cultural and political ceremony. At the heart of the event was a declaration that George Natembeya had the qualities to speak on behalf of the Luya people, popularly referred as the Mulembe Nation. As part of the ceremony, elders handed Natembeya a staff and a traditional whisk, items used symbolically to represent authority and the power to speak for the community. The elders present at the event explained that the act was a recognition of Natembeya's firm voice, fearless leadership style, and ability to articulate concerns of Western Kenya on a national stage. Several speeches were made, each pointing to the need for a strong spokesperson who could bring unity, assertiveness, and visibility to the Luya community in national politics. Speakers during the Natembeas as courageous, vocal, and unafraid to confront issues that affected the people. The endorsement was accompanied by blessings, chant, and declaration that Natembeya would from then on serve as the people's mouthpiece. Barely 5 days later, a new group of elders emerged in a strong opposition to the Sabatia endorsement. led by John Chepseba, Simon Mohindi, and the Western Kenya Council of Elders Vihiga chapter. The group condemned the study exercise, saying it had been staged by individuals who were not recognized as representative of the community. Chepseba and Moindi addressed the journalist, declaring that those who took part in Sabata endorsement had no authority to speak on behalf of the eager elders. According to them, the men who had handed Natamir the symbolic staff and whisk were impersonators who misled the public by presenting themselves as genuine cultural leaders. The rival elders stressed that the official elders council in Figa had not sanctioned any process to replace or challenge Mudavadi, who has been the Mulembe spokesperson since December 31st, 2016. They further emphasized that the community structure requires consensus, wide consultation, and legitimate traditional procedures before any new spokesperson can be installed. The strong words came from Jepseba, who accused the Sabbatia elders of deliberately impersonating the real custodians of culture. He insisted that the Western Kenya Council of Elders remains the only recognized body mandated to make a cultural and symbolic declaration on behalf of the Vihiga community. According to him, the men who blessed Natamea acted outside the recognized structures. He termed the ceremony a political show disguised as a cultural practice, adding that it risked undermining the unity and dignity of elders in Vihiga County. Simeon Moinde supported Jepseba's remarks, noting that the symbolic stab and whisk handed to Natambea carried no weight because they did not come from the council authority. He further argued that the Saturday ceremony created confusion by suggesting that the community had two spokespersons at once. A Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi was installed as the Mulembe spokesperson in December 2016, following a cultural ceremony that drew elders across Western Kenya. The position was presented as a unifying platform of the Luya community, with Mudavadi recognized as the senior-most leader and trusted with representing the region's voice. Since then, he has continued to serve in that capacity without any formal replacement or withdrawal of the endorsement. The elders opposing Natembea's endorsement repeatedly cited this fact, reminding the council that Mudavadi remained legitimate owner of the spokesperson's role. The elders further noted that complaints had not been formally registered against Mudavadi's leadership, and therefore there are no basics to install another leader. In their view, the Sabata endorsement was not only irregular but also disrespectful the process that saw Mudavadi installed 9 years ago. Even though the elders avoided direct political commentating, the split carries significant weight on the politics of Western Kenya. By handing Natamia the staff and wicks, the Sabatia elders place him in direct comparison with Mudavadi, who has long been considered the region's political voice. Natembea, currently serving as the governor of Trans Nzoia, has gained political national attention for his outspoken style and frequent clash with opponents. His endorsement in Sabatia was therefore read for a possible attempt by section of community to elevate him to an alternative position. The elders who endorsed Natembea insist that their decision was based on careful consideration. According to them, representatives from all four communities of Luya County were present in Sabatia and their participation demonstrated a genuine concern. They described Natembeya as a leader who has been consistent, defending the interests of Western Kenya without fear. They pointed to his record of public service, his vocal nature in the national debate, and his courage to challenge injustice as the reason for his selection. On the other hand, the Western Kenya Council of Elders Vihiga chapter dismissed the Sabatia ceremony entirely. They described that the process lacked the backing of the council and was therefore null and void. According to the council, any legitimate cultural installation must follow recognized procedures, involve wide consultation among community leaders, and carry the official sanction of the council. They stress that none of these requirements had been met in Natembea's endorsement. The council further accused the organizers of misleading the public by holding the event in Sabatia's Mudavadi on home area to create the impression of legitimacy and wide support. They insisted that only the council has the authority to decide on matters of cultural leadership.